Hi, welcome back. And I'm here with Justin from Austin American Technology. And we're going to be talking, at least to begin with, the new stencil cleaner. So, welcome. And I guess the first easy question is tell me about it.
Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity to sit down and talk to you guys a little bit. But the X30 stencil cleaner has been a staple for Austin American Technology since 1988. A lot of people don't realize how long Austin American's been around and how long that stencil cleaner's been around.
Wow, that's a lot of history.
Especially since I was born in 1987, so
Yeah.
it's actually a year younger than I am. But we're very proud of the stencil cleaner. We've actually seen it for 2021. It was our number one sold piece of equipment.
Really? So, it must have been very advanced technology at the time to be keeping up with all the demands that have changed in terms of cleaning. Because back in '86, you were through Hull and that was it. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
you wouldn't know because you're too young. But
I
yeah,
don't know, and I could stay up here and repeat a bunch of things smarter people have told me, but I won't do that. But what I can tell you is, with the stencil cleaner, it was built on a solid foundation, and the overall concept dimensions have not changed from its original uh, date that it was introduced. And in fact, we still have customers that are using the stencil cleaner that they bought from the original line back in 1988, still being actively used on the floor today.
wow, that's impressive, and it copes okay with surface mount and low standoffs and all the other challenges that are around now that weren't around then.
Well, they're just cleaning stencils, so it makes it a little easier. But that's a good little transition because what we've seen, at least in last year, we do have an upgrade on the stencil cleaner that we introduced that allows you to clean PCBs and misprints. And I would say probably about 75% of the stencil cleaners we sold, or the X30 stencil cleaner we sold in 2021, included the option to clean PCBs and misprints.
Okay, so effectively, they're boards that the SPI has said don't have enough paste on them or have too much paste or something, and you're basically washing off the paste.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And even some other shops, maybe they have some unique size boards that won't fit into your traditional batch cleaner, or they don't want to change the whole recipe up in the inline. So they'll just put the onesie twosies into a custom rack that they'll place into the stencil cleaner.
But I suppose that's putting more solder paste into the whatever solution you're using compared to just cleaning a stencil. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually part of the reason it's been so popular. Is I think with all the COVID challenges we've been facing, so many people are bringing a lot more, at least in the United States, are bringing a lot more of the production in house. So with the stencil cleaner, it has the versatility to be able to handle the solder paste in cleaning both stencils and PCBs and misprints that you wouldn't want to do to your batch cleaner.
Yeah. And obviously, it copes with small apertures and all the other demanding stuff.
Yes, and man, I'm going to have you start selling this thing for me. No, I'm just kidding. That's actually one of the main selling points is, we always compete against the lesser expensive ultrasonic options. And with the spray and air technology, that's probably the best feature is the very small apertures on those stencils, being able to make sure those are fully clean.
Yeah, and obviously dry afterwards. But yeah,
Well, that is our thing. It is a fully automatic stencil cleaner. So you're wash, rinse, and fully dry all in 10 to 12 minutes.
wow, and that's one stencil at a time or a batch.
Currently, it's the X30 is one stencil at a time. So you insert it, press a button, walk away, come back, take it out, and put a new one in.
Well, I suppose unless you're working in really really small volumes, that's quite a quick turnaround time. So it's probably not an issue for 99.9% of the companies out there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and it also just a labor savings as well. You don't. This machine does not require a full-time operator.
Yeah, I suppose it's put it in, push the button, and then when it's done, you can take it out, and half an hour after it's done, you can still take it out.
Absolutely, and one of the things that we released right in the middle of summer last year is we gave it a full cosmetic makeover. Not only does it have the nice fancy touchscreen on it now and all full color, but we went away from the grays and browns that I think this industry has been used to for so long, and we brought in the nice bright red, white, and blue to match our logo. So we're very proud of it, and so far our customer feedback has been great, and we've actually taken that color scheme and added it to a few more pieces of equipment that we're actually releasing early this year.
Yeah, I have to say I'm very pleased to hear that because a lot of us are very fed up with looking at everything and it's just various shades of gray.
I would agree with that. I'm new and younger in the industry, so I would have to say the bright colors, they make people happy. And when you're working in a floor like that, you want to work on nice pieces of equipment that you enjoy.
And just I guess to round it off, what about the environmental considerations of washed off paste and chemistry and all the rest of the stuff?
That is a phenomenal question, because that is something that is a hot topic for everyone, no matter where you live in this world. And fortunately, with all of Austin American Technology equipment, they come in both open loop and closed loop configurations. And I would say almost every stencil cleaner we sold in 2021 and so far this year has been a closed loop configuration, which means all you have to do is add a carbon and a DI bottle to it. Nothing goes at the drain except for when you need to do your annual maintenance or change out your solution. And even then, most people do like put in a barrel or evaporate it off. So very little, if anything, goes to drain nowadays.
Wow, so there's hardly any environmental impact at all.
That's absolutely correct. And that's one of the main things that we focus on with all of our equipment. Even though we build the equipment 100% in Austin, Texas, we still have environmental issues there. And we want to make sure that nothing's going to drain if you don't want it to.
And yeah, that's a good thing to see. And even though you have a machine that's been around for a very, very long time, effectively you could also say that because of this kind of stuff, it's state of the art as well.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'll give credit to the founder, Steve Statcher of Austin American Technology. Even back in 1988 when he launched the company, he had a good vision and he knew what was coming in the future. So, little tweaks here and there, going to touchscreens instead of push buttons, just upgrading the technology all around, and it works with everybody.
Yeah, and obviously you've done okay through COVID, and you're exhibiting here.
Yes, we do have a booth here. We didn't bring any equipment. We weren't sure how the turnout was going to be, but I have to say it's a pretty good show so far. But I would give a testament to these type of opportunities. Doing this type of video is really what has gotten us through COVID. So you're the forefront of that, and it's a tremendous opportunity.
Yep, and I have to say, just to wrap up, it's really nice to talk to people in 3 dimensions here as well. So thank you very much for joining me.
I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Not at all. It's been my pleasure.